Om Shanti. And soul consciousness, mind and intellect are free from any thoughts. So when mind and intellect are free, then we feel full of Baba. There is natural, very loveful remembrance of Baba. There is very, very close feelings with Baba as parents. So I experience not only belonging, but very powerful stage. So we take dishti from Baba.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avyakti Parivar, January 25th, Raazyukt, Wisdom, Gyan. Now we'll be listening from Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. It has been amazing journey in month of January, looking at roots and skirts of Brahma Baba. And during day, looking at our own sanskars, paying attention, emerging, and some definitely had been writing lot. It makes a lot of difference, our feelings towards Brahma Baba. And Brahma Baba was not separate from Shiv Baba, right? So when we talk about Brahma Baba, actually we are talking about his sanskars because he was very, very close to Shiv Baba. He really made such relationship connection that he was able to take from Shiv Baba all his virtues, his powers. So there is very beautiful relationship between Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba. So I had been also experiencing so much natural remembrance of Shiv Baba. Even we are talking about Brahma Baba. So Transformation also could be so hum so. Many times Baba in Murli says, so hum so. What I was, I have to be that again. So whether I think of eternal form and I have to return to that eternal form, I think of original form, deity form, I have to return or again get back to that stage. So hum, or what we heard yesterday, Brahma so Vishnu. That means Brahmin to deity. At present, I am Brahmin, I have to become a deity. So deity sanskars have to emerge. Once Baba was describing in Murli that deities are also human beings, but they are human beings with divine virtues. Now, what is the difference between virtues and divine virtues? When there is purity, then every virtue is divine virtue. Because divinity is merged in purity, or it also emerges from purity. When I say merge, is that when there is purity, vicelessness, there is divinity. When there are vices, then devilishness, no? Anger, greed, falsehood, lies, all these are the traits of devilish traits. And devilish traits means vices, right? So purity and divinity has deep connection. So Brahma, Baba is always symbol of purity and Vishnu symbol of divinity. So whether we call it Soham or we say Brahma so Vishnu, and then Vishnu became Brahma, right? So Brahma so Vishnu, Vishnu so Brahma. So Brahma, symbol of purity, simplicity, purity. Vishnu, our fruition, divinity. So for transformation, we have to always remember Baba has come to make human into divine, human being to deity, man to Narayan, and woman in Lakshmi. Well, that's what our aim object is. No, that's what Baba has come, and we also, all of us, were touched by that. We accepted, and we began our journey. And now we have to complete the journey. So we have to keep reminding ourselves more and more that I have to be divine. That means there is purity. I have to use virtues. When I am peaceful, when I am loveful, it's different. Different when there is purity and love is different, isn't it? Otherwise, every love will have some attachment. But here, yes, we have lot of love for each other. But there is no sorrow, there is no expectation, there is no attachment. Yes, connection is there, right? Because we had been playing our part. We had been together for so long, right? Actually, it should be eternally, not only 84 births. When we know we all are souls, we are eternally pure, peaceful, we all belong to common parents, we have same home, same aim. So naturally, there is this deep relationship amongst all of us. So, word Soham So is the image of transformation. Every time, just remember what I was, and this is what I have to become. Because in journey, it is important to remember destination. From wherever I began, I have to return there. So this Soham So will help us to remind ourselves of our aim, our destination. Now we look into the quality or root sanskar of wisdom. Wisdom in Hindi is called Vivek. And you have heard the name Vivekanand. Now, when there is Vivek means enlightened intellect. There is ordinary intellect. There are so many intellectuals, right? Very, very good intellect, super intellect, but not necessarily they are wise. Some might have a simple intellect, but they are very wise. So, but this wisdom which is taught, Vivek, is enlightened intellect, where you have power to discern properly. There is other word, very beautiful Hindi word. One is Vivekanand means enlightened intellect is the one who has enlightened intellect will be blissful, Anand. And bliss means beyond sorrow and happiness. Not today I'm happy, tomorrow I'm sad, I'm very happy, then I'm flat, right? Blissful. Always internally have contentment. So Vivek, Anand, no, they always, both words go together. So Vivekshil, there is other word called Vivekshil means this person is character, behavior, interaction, all are example. Vivekshil person, personality. And I think Baba's children, we are also Vivekanand's, right? Because word yug means in remembrance in yoga. One is to have yoga. One is I am remembering Baba, but I am in remembrance of Baba. Yoga yukt. Yukt means there is natural remembrance in me. So it's not only I sit in yoga, I have yoga, I do yoga, but I am naturally in remembrance of Baba. Yoga yukt. Very, very sweet remembrance of Baba. Very loveful remembrance of Baba. No question of concentration or connection, no. Remembrance. Yoga Yukt. So Brahma Baba was Yukt. He was not separate from Shiv Baba. So deeply in remembrance of Baba. And we all also have to keep the same to be Yukt. That means I am naturally in remembrance of Baba. Tomorrow, when you will look into that for practice or before sleeping or early morning, when you will feel natural presence of Baba or Baba's remembrance. And then there is Yukti. Yukti means method. That means if I have to think, when I have to speak, I should be Yukti Yukt. Once as we give knowledge, we have to be Yukti Yukt. Give points in such a way that no one's faith is hurt. No one feels that we are putting pressure or convincing. Yukti Yukt. But also in relationships, speaking to each other, conversation should be Yukti. We have to think what is the right method, what is the right way, what are the right words. So you say whatever has to be said, but in right with right method, right way, right words. So when you are you are always you are happy and others are also happy. And then it comes to Raazyukt. Raz means significance. There's some incognito significance which is not visible, then they call it secret. Something which is not visible, we call it secret, right? But there is some deep importance, meaning, or significance. It's called Raazyukt. So when it comes to wisdom, so the whatever way you are thinking is very connected with knowledge and yoga. And because it's connected with knowledge and yoga, it has some meaning, it has some significance. Many words we say, like Baba will ask me, have we ever met before? Yes, we met last Kalpa. We will meet again. Now there is a Raz, right? Which others won't understand, but I know why I'm saying it. People will be surprised because I know it's a cycle, our part, and how we meet again and again. So it's called Raz, some significance. So Raz Yukt. So even the title we had given to the roots and scars of Brahma Baba, and then we say Raza Yukt because incognito is significant. You have to understand deep meaning of it. So Yogi Yukta, Actually, it can also be Gyan Yukt, any Yukt, no? But basically, we say Yogi Yukt, and that should be our aim. When I have to say something, remember Baba. When you have to act, remember Baba. When you have to decide, remember Baba. So Yogi Yukta, Yukti Yukta, and Raazyukt. So Vivek, huh? With knowledge, our intellect has been enlightened. And because of that, I live a balanced life and always, always be in bliss. No sorrow, mm, no temporary happiness, but internally, always, always very blissful. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, dear Mohini Didi, good evening. Hello, everyone. Such a beautiful, thank you, such a beautiful topic, wisdom. And I was wondering what do you see as being the difference between knowledge and wisdom? When do we become wise versus knowledgeable?
When we implement knowledge in practical, and then there is experience of that knowledge, power of that knowledge. So intellect is then enlightened intellect, based on knowledge and based on realization also is part of that. So when I get knowledge, I have realization, then my thoughts, power to discern is based on knowledge is called wisdom. A lot of people call it third eye, but this is more like, as I gave example that Vivekanand, his name was Siddhartha. And then he went in forest and did many years of meditation. And then they start calling him Vivekanand, means he got all the answers now. He had so many questions about life, about death, about disease, sorrow, but he had realization. And as soon as he had realization, he had all the answers. So then they call him Vivek, and that is wisdom. So when you are wise enough, you don't have really any questions about why God created this, why there is so much what happening in the world. So many questions. You understand everything about karmas, about time and significance of everything. Then you are a wise person. No
So I don't know if I'm very wise. I've been asking questions for 24 days now. So, I know I'm joking, but in the world sometimes when we give knowledge, but in a very nice way, they don't understand anything and they say, oh, you're very wise. And they sometimes, confuse wisdom with ununderstandable knowledge. So, but wisdom is also a subtlety. People, when they find that the wisdom is also almost not just an answer, but a pathway, when they feel that what we're sharing is not just information, but a pathways, I find sometimes they say, oh, it's very wise, because you find your way through life with knowledge. But it's interesting to know how we become wise, because I think we're all very knowledgeable. I don't know if we are wise to the same extent we are knowledgeable, and it's a beautiful beautiful concept. I have a question for you. Is we know some of us have been amazed that for more than 300 nights you've been sharing endless knowledge, and we record everything, and you're not repeating yourself. and it's like the Ganges, you know, coming out. And I was telling you there must be a story in the scripture in the Copper Age that will relate what we are living now in the month of January. And by the end of next week, I'll tell you what is the story I think is the memorial. But I was wondering, how do you churn the knowledge? How do you, what's your secret? What's your raz in changing Baba's knowledge into wisdom? What's your technique of churning?
See, one is churning, reflecting, but third is insights. So when there is silence or no, churning is more through intellect, right? So we uh, is that we could be expert in the sense of like you start writing about anything, you can keep going on. It's the intellect, but deep within then, because there had been, just imagine for 62 years I had been listening and implementing and using, and so everything is there, but just I connect in silence, and then there is insight, and then that explanation comes, which is not new, which is part of some of the experiences, some of the realizations, and some new realizations every day. And also observing drama, observing my part, everyone's part, also gives me more insights too. Yeah, I think it had been natural, it had been easy.
Now
And
we're watching, and we're wondering where is all this water coming from. And
mhm,
so, do you think that wisdom is a little bit more connected to insight than just knowledge? Would
yeah,
wisdom?
see, knowledge will change into insights. No? If we really knowledge is more information based. Like I hear about being Tirkaldashi, I hear that I am soul. But if I have been practice and experience and have some deep experiences, there won't be insight. Today, like every time I sit in soul consciousness, I have very different thought. Today, I in soul consciousness had a very beautiful thought that, so every time I sit in that stage, it's not practice, but being soul conscious, you will have some very beautiful thoughts. Like thought was that who is battery? Is soul, right? So soul is battery. So soul has to be charged. How to keep my soul charged? So when Baba said, if you are happy, your body will be okay. So then I was connecting with that. So it happens very naturally when you are in that state of mind. And I don't call it churning, but it's more like from experience. So then I just sat as a battery and I said, well, I have to connect with the recharger from where I can recharge. Oh, I have to recharge with Supreme Battery Shiv Baba. So like this, no, it comes every time. And then I write it immediately because I like it. It's a good experience of feeling myself as battery, and I can keep it charged, but also I can help body with this charged battery to continue to use it properly. So a
These
point
thoughts,
from Murli,
these thoughts continue to come to you early in the morning. I think, no, you wake up very early in the
and
morning,
no, the whole day,
anytime.
it keeps happening all day. Whenever there is a time, 10, 15 minutes, or yeah, even observing scenes of drama, it's like I heard in the morning the point about if you are happy, then body will also be okay. So I really said, okay, let me see how it works, if it really works. So that's where it began. Right. So it's all natural. I think it's in everyone's life. I think more your experience, more you implement knowledge. Implementation definitely gives new depth and insights of the knowledge.
So, do you think that Shiv Baba, if we look at the roots and scar of wisdom, we always say from Shiv Baba, he is the ocean of knowledge. He's not really implementing the knowledge, but is he still ocean of wisdom as well? Or
See, generally we will say he's supreme wise, but for Brahma Baba, he had wisdom. For God, generally they say he's supreme wise. That means we are only wise, but he's supreme wise. That means he has his knowledge is wisdom, right? But we are the ones who claim that wisdom. We change knowledge into wisdom. He doesn't need to change that. He's supreme wise. But if I have to be wise, then it's only when I really apply truly in whatever Baba is saying, or I want to be that, then wisdom awakens definitely in a very natural way.
they use
But
the
again,
expression as so
again
intellect
yes.
of the wise, right?
Hmm?
They use the expression intellect of the wise.
Otherwise, yeah.
Or intellect of the wise.
Intellect of the wise, right? And that is where advice word comes, no? You don't go to everyone for advice, but you go to a wise person, will give you a very good consultation. So then they say, oh, can I take advice from you? Right? Baba Shrimat, huh?
I like that very much because I always heard the word advice. And I always felt, why do you want to advise? You don't want to advise, but I prefer the pronunciation adwise. Give me an adwise, not an advice, because it's written advice. So I'm very curious about, because we're talking about those roots and sanskaras, and I'm trying to understand, the sanskaras of Brahma Baba versus the sanskaras of Shiv Baba. And I'm wondering if some sanskaras Shiv Baba doesn't really need. Like, is Shiv Baba really having tolerance, patience, certain qualities that we're using? Are they really all also attributes of Shiv Baba, or are they some of them only attributes of Brahma Baba and even the deities?
Yeah, I think you are correct. I also always thought that God has purity, and because of purity, there is knowledge. And because He is ever pure, He is knowledgeful, so He is always peaceful. But then all other qualities are necessary in our lives. So we change knowledge and peace or purity into, like, even if God might be abused, like people are angry with God, He doesn't need to tolerate, because when there is purity, you don't feel you are tolerating, or knowledge is there. So purity, knowledge, and peace, and love, it could be another love, maybe truth. But from purity, naturally, I think all the virtues which are required, they emerge. You don't have like separate. God has to have patience. No, I need to have patience. God doesn't need to have patience. So I see, basically, I always remember Baba with God as love, God as truth, purity, and of course, knowledge. That's why he's called intellect of all intellects, wise of all wise.
Can you remember some moments when you really saw in Brahma Baba how wise he was? Not just knowledgeable, But when did you remember that thinking, Brahma Baba is so wise?
Because see, one is generally our responses are from our intellect, and they are like, okay, we have knowledge, we know, I know something, I just reply. But that was not with Brahma Baba, you knew that he is going in, introvert, or connecting with that sense of everything. And then when he's replying you, it's not coming just from intellect, it's coming from his experience or his inner power, or wisdom, enlightenment, whatever we call it. So definitely all the time, you know, even with Dadi Janki or, with Dadis, we found that it was not intellectual answer. And sometimes intellectuals say, well, what's this answer? Because they're looking for some intellectual answer. But then those who know that it's higher, it's not only intellect, because intellectual answers can be written, no? There is reasoning in that, there is factual, there is analysis, there is process. But when you go beyond that, there is something else. And we know about, because the wisdom also is very connected with truth. Like one is I have knowledge, but I have really believed and practiced knowledge. There is truth in that, right? It's not only my belief, but it's my life. So it's real, it's truth. So wisdom always is connected with truth also, and and it works. Like it when you do it, there is power in that, and also blessing in that too.
If I can share briefly an experience I had with you actually in Peace Village, which was very revealing for me because it was during the French retreat. So we had many guests who came and who were explaining different things. And so I came in the gathering as, the brother who will explain something very deep to you. And so we were sharing, and then someone asked me about the omnipresence of God. And I was trying very hard to explain certain things. And I was getting hot physically. And their face didn't look too happy with my explanation. And I was struggling a little bit trying to explain. And I could tell they were not completely content, with the answer. And then you entered the room. And I jokingly told you, oh, Sister Mohini, thank you. Please come and save me. I'm in trouble here. And you came into the gathering and you just sat, and I said, I don't know, they're asking me about omnipresence. And I'm trying to explain how God is not omnipresent. And I don't think my answer is satisfying anyone. And you just sat and you had a moment of silence. And your answer was, isn't it what we would all love, that he would be omnipresent? Isn't it what we're seeking, that presence all the time? And everybody started to smile. And I was trying for half an hour to convince them of something with deep knowledge. And just in one sentence, I saw everyone's face smiling, and I started to stop sweating and feel a little bit more relaxed and thinking, I've been saved. She just, and the way you answered to me was, I never heard that. But I don't know if I'm right. To me, that was wisdom that I really enjoyed, and I felt. And now I'm anxious. I want to hear people asking me the question about omnipresence so I can practice.
But also sometimes we feel that I have to give not intellectual answer. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever is written, whatever I haven't. But sometimes I don't know, it has to be in a different way, your answer, not necessarily from the intellect. It will be from the intellect, definitely. It's not without that sense. Yeah, for omnipresence, there are some very beautiful ways to make people believe that God is one, and we all want to experience His presence. But how we
So,
do that?
last question. How do we know we're wise? What will be the signs that I'm wise? How can I say I qualify, I'm wise? What will be the signs?
I think that there is wisdom. We only need to get in touch with that wisdom and give up this whole aspect. I think we all have to do certain things, which is very intellectual or concentration and intellect based and focus. But also, I think you have to, like everyone has truth, but I have to get in touch with my own truth. Same is wisdom. So there is wisdom in everyone, but I have to get in touch with that wisdom. For that, maybe silence or introversion or knowing how to get in touch with my own self. So I think that all of us are wise. Will be number wise, but
Otherwise,
but still wisdom is in everyone. Like Baba says that I have given you a divine intellect, divine eye as your birthright. Since you are born, you have been given divine eye. But then again, it's up to me how I am taking it and using that. Same is wisdom also.
so I think we'll be hearing the word number wise now more wisely. And I like the way you explain yukt. And I think that we should think of new words, like food yukt, sleep yukt, different ways of using yukt in everything. I think our food should be food yukt and our sleep should be sleep yukt, no?
No, food should be yogi yukt, no?
Food should be food. Okay.
Eat food in Baba's remembrance. Right?
All
Not
right. So
food,
let's
food yukt, yeah. Okay.
see what Sister Gayatri Yukt will bring into our menu for tomorrow.
Today I took what she also wrote, so it's easy for her.
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, yeah, but it's also good when I have to make sense out of it if you don't talk about what I've written. But Eric, I have a question for you. And it's from the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer actually asks the question and answer it. And so it is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Oh,
So that's wisdom, isn't it?
yes.
This, to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you. This is not a question for me, it's an answer.
Well, I have the question for you as well. To say that when you ask, what is wisdom? I think, sometimes wisdom is there staring us in the face, but we don't see it.
Mm.
And the other one is, do you know that song by Dave Pomerantz that you weren't born spiritually yet, but at the Million Minutes of Peace appeal, this singer, Dave Pomerantz, sang this
I was
song.
there. I was there. I was
Were you?
born. I was 2 years old already.
Really? And you were at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine?
Yes, I was there and I heard that song.
Remember that song he sang?
Yes.
It's each and every one of us to be wise. And that's what Sister Mohini is saying. How do I know I'm wise? Your question to her. The Million Minutes of Peace Appeal told us that it's in each and every one of us to be wise. And then he said, open up both your eyes. So Baba would say, open up your third eye. So I just wanted to, share these little things with you because that's what we were brought up with, weren't we?
Yes. Thank you. Really enjoy. I will think and meditate on it and reflect and write a poem on it.
Be your reflection point tomorrow.
Okay.
So hello everyone, and thank you, Sister Mohini, for staying close to the bullets or the points. I should call them points and not bullets. And also, the one thing you didn't take up, but maybe tomorrow you will, is this whole idea of Brahma Vidya, and Vidya being the knowledge or the wisdom that got revealed to Brahma. And my question would have been, had I been Eric, was because the knowledge was revealed directly to Brahma Baba, did he somewhat, because Shiv Baba was sitting next to him, absorb that knowledge first and foremost as wisdom and not as knowledge? In other words, he was able to feel it um, at the time Shiv Baba was giving it to him. And so maybe the receiving of it in and of itself, with someone, the Yog Yukt receiving of it, or the Gyan Yukt receiving of it, would have in and of itself transform it from just basic knowledge into a kind of a wisdom, of course, connected to the truth. So, the root sanskara for tomorrow is wisdom. And of course, I put Gyan in brackets because I didn't want to put a fourth point here as Gyan Yukt. So wisdom to me was Gyan Yukt. And of course, it's when he elaborated on that. And then it comes under this title that Brahma Baba gets as Brahma Vidya. And it's the spiritual secret of creation through direct revelation. And so the Brahma Vidya is not something that he read and studied and then gave, but it's something that got revealed through him. And so the three Yog Yukt Sister Mohini talked about, that Yukt means to be in the remembrance in a very natural way. And Yukti means that the Yukti Yukt means the method. In other words, I have to think before I speak and then use yuktis. And then the Raazyukt means the incognito significance, which is like a secret that is invisible but holds deep importance and meaning. So as we use this, the explanation of the roots and skara, and we connect it to the daily quote. So could we bring the daily quote up on the screen, please? It's a very simple quote. It's soul is truth, God is truth, and truth is immortal. So it's connecting us back to wisdom, and wisdom is connecting us back to Yog Yukt, Yukti Yukt, and Raz Yukt. And so tomorrow, when I do my journaling, when I do my reflecting, and when I do my contemplating, remember to connect the quote to the roots and skara of wisdom, so you can open up your third eye and see that it's in each and every one of us to be wise. But also, I'd like you to start doing something today, and because we're concluding this on Saturday. And so for the next 7 days, I would like you to look at something that is connecting us to the actual title of this series. And the actual title is Raazyukt. So we are looking to discover that deep incognito significance, which is like that secret, but it is invisible. But it holds deep importance and meaning. When we are using this daily quote from Baba, however we choose to use it, whatever was our option, then I'm encouraging you to look for the secret. What is the secret that you are experiencing? What is emerging out of you that you feel holds very deep and incognito significance? Because this last week you have gone through so many days, 24 days. Tomorrow's your 25th. So you've been doing it and doing it and doing it. And maybe you weren't looking for the Raz to become the Yukt. So what is that significance? And so I would like you to also capture it. It could be a word, it could be a sentence, and look for it at the level of insight. Look for it at the level of an emergent, something that's emerging from within you that is like a wisdom point. And just capture that, because I think that would help the intellect to move from just understanding to actually experiencing. It will move the intellect into the state of vivek. So starting tomorrow, let's capture that Raazyukt experience that is hidden in the soul, so that we can start becoming wiser. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avyakti Journey Family Time, immersing the fragrance of Saka days.
माँ की ममता क्या होती है, माँ तुझ में हमने देखा। माँ की ममता क्या होती है, माँ तुझ में हमने देखा। हे जगदम्बे तेरी गोद में सब जग को पलते देखा। माँ की ममता क्या होती है, माँ तुझ में हमने देखा। शीतल शीतल आंचल में जो आया भूल नहीं सकता। सुनकर माँ की मीठी लोरी, सुनकर माँ की मीठी लोरी, कोई दूर न जा सकता। राव रंग का सभी रंग का देह भान गल के देखा। हे जगदम्बे तेरी गोद में सब जग को पलते देखा। माँ की ममता क्या होती है, माँ तुझ में हमने देखा। गई कोर्ट में किया था गर्जन, सुना तुम्हें शेरावाली। कमजोरों को बल देती पर, कमजोरों को बल देती पर, कमजोरी करती काली। दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती हर रूप में है ढल के देखा। हे जगदम्बे तेरी गोद में सब जग को पलते देखा। माँ की ममता क्या होती है, माँ तुझ में हमने देखा। गजब का निश्चय।
Om Shanti. So that those were Baba's Sakar Day's photos, which brings all those memories to us. We want to show something unique today, and which is we see Baba's room now, how it looks, and we know how it is Pandapon now. So let's see how it looked, Baba's room in early days during Sakar Baba's day. So this is 1969. This is the Baba's room. It looks so different. So the first door, that's the Baba's room. So when you go into the courtyard in Panda Bhavan, so that's where there's another room next to Baba's room where there's office and Dadiji used to meet there. So second door is that. So I hope you can visualize, but it's so different now. So wanted to share with all of you this photo from 1969. It's Baba's room. And also, since yesterday we had been talking about Vishnu, so Brahma, so in Pado Bhakti, in devotion, how they build the temple and the images which they create. So this is how it is like the image which they have created in Pado Bhakti. But now we know the meaning of it, right? Because this can never happen like this. But it's just the symbolic that how Vishnu becomes Brahma. So Didi wanted to share with all of you. So here these two pictures wanted to be present in front of everyone. So now we will remember Baba, say good night, goodbye, and take drishti.
We are very, very fortunate to be together every evening, not to listen, but to feel it, to experience it, right? There are many who will be listening, but we are really very fortunate that we could be together. While listening to Mama's song, I was so moved and really start feeling Mama's love, Mama's love, Mama's sustenance. So it's really not just listening that we are together here, but we are together. It's great fortune to really feel it, to experience it, that belonging to Yagya. And not only that, but many of you are alone, but Baba is giving you, like bringing Yagya to you, bringing family to you. So I really feel very fortunate. I myself is thinking that we all are fortunate to be together in a Vyakti Parivar in the evening and share the experience. Om Shanti and good night.
Om Shanti Vyakti Parivar. Our remembrance of Baba should be natural. Om Shanti. Good night.
Sweet.
Om Shanti Didi. Om Shanti Vyakti Parivar. We should maintain purity, thoughts, words. Om Shanti. Good night. Sleep with Baba.